Can someone confirm in the chat box if my voice is audible? Can someone confirm if my voice is audible? So today's session is on interview-based question and answers for particularly drug regulatory affairs. Can someone confirm if my voice is audible so that I can start the session? Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for confirming my voice is audible. So today's topic is on interview-based questions, particularly on drug regulatory affairs. This was very old-standing session which everyone wanted to have. What are the possible interview secrets and a list of questions which are being recently asked in interviews for drug regulatory affairs or regulatory affairs associate? The first and foremost question which every company will ask, what exactly is drug regulatory affairs? What is that when you call it as drug regulatory affairs? It's a profession that ensures the pharmaceutical products to meet the legal regulatory requirement for safety, efficacy, and also for quality before it is reaching to market. So it means that there are three standard criteria. First one is safety, the second one is efficacy, the third one is quality. And it has to meet the legal requirement, the regulatory requirement, and this all together is called as the Regulatory Affairs Department. Now, what are the different roles of Regulatory Affairs Department? What are the different responsibilities and roles generally Regulatory Affairs team takes care? So for this, they prepare and submit regulatory documents. The first one, they prepare and submit all the regulatory documents, including DMFs, dossiers, INDs, NDAs, ANDAs, CTDs. Ensures the compliance with the regulatory authorities, and also it supports the entire life cycle management from the discovery to the market, after the market, till the patent drug is expired also. So now it has multiple roles. The first one, you call it as documentation. The second one is submission management, including IND, NDA, CTA, or ANDA submissions. The third one is the regulatory compliance following the GCP, GLP, GMP, and all those aspects. And the fourth one is cross-functional collaboration, including the preclinical studies, clinical studies, and including the manufacturing, quality control, and audit and inspections also. The fourth one, the regulatory inspections, and last one is the regulatory strategies. So these are the people who submits the documents, regulatory documents, particularly including the dossier or CTDs or any kind of regulatory submission documents in regulatory authorities. The first and foremost applications, the question is, what is NDA, when it is submitted, why it is submitted, what it contains. These are the few questions of NDA, and this one slide will give you full image and picture of a question called as NDA. What exactly is NDA? NDA full form stands for New Drug Application. A formal application submitted to regulatory authorities to get approval for the market to sell a newer drug. So whenever a drug is completed with the clinical trials to get approval for the new drug into the market, it goes with NDA application. Now, NDA in simple terms, it's a request for regulatory authorities to FDA to market a new drug. What it contains the clinical data, clinical trial information, phase 1, 2, 3. It contains non-clinical data, including the toxicology and safety and efficacy data. It contains the CMC data, which is chemistry manufacturing control data. And also it contains the labeling information and the risk benefit analysis also it will contain. So when NDA is submitted, so first question, what is NDA? Second question, what it contains? The third question, when NDA is submitted. So once the discovery is done, you go for preclinical, clinical studies, and then NDA submission. Then you get an approval, then it goes into market. So the submission is after the clinical trial is submitted or completed, the NDA application is published. What happens after the submission to the regulatory authorities for NDA application? They review the submitted data of preclinical and clinical, inspects the manufacturing facilities to check CMC's data, evaluate the risk and benefits, and they will do two things. One is approved, one is rejected, or it will ask for complete response letter is issued for additional data or changes to required either to preclinical or clinical or drug label information. NDA is a critical step to ensure a new drug is safe, effective for the public with high quality before it reaches to the huge amount of public. So first question, what is NDA? Second question, what it contains. Third question, when it is submitted. Fourth question, what happens after NDA is submitted. All these four questions we have discussed in one particular slide, that is NDA. The third question, every time in interview, it has been asked, as India is becoming more generic hub of the world. What is ANDA? So ANDA full form, first one, abbreviated new drug application. So abbreviated new drug application is called as ANDA. What is the definition? A simple application submitted to the regulatory authorities to obtain from the generic version of already approved brand drug. So when there is a brand drug, when patent is expired, then you want to get it approval for generic drug, then it is called as ANDA, which is abbreviated new drug application. That is a common definition for abbreviated new drug application. If you wanted to have a more of deeper understanding of simple definition, ANDA is submitted for generic drugs. Simple. Generic drugs that are therapeutically equivalent already approved brand name of the drug. So brand name is equivalent to generic name is called as ANDA submission, ANDA submission. The same ingredients, same strength, same dosage, same route, same quality, and same effectiveness. It should not have something differently from the patent. And when it is being submitted and how it is being submitted is more important. So what exactly ANDA contains, because it is not a new drug, it is already existed patent drug which is being copied. What exactly it contains? So the first one is administrative information like application form, labeling, patient information leaflet, and certification. The second one, CMC, the chemistry manufacturing control of the companies. The third one, non-clinical data is exceptional, not needed unless and until it is being required by the FDA. The clinical bioequivalence studies which is required, it's not the phase 1, 2, 3, it's a special studies which has to be conducted for the patent to human, patent to generic. The PKPD studies are being conducted, CMAX, TMAX, and AUC to showcase the patent generic equivalence. The fourth one, drug labeling, which is similar to the patent drug. And last one is patent certification where it is expired. When ANDA is submitted, so first one, identify the reference listed drug, which is RLD, branded drugs, and then develop your generic drug molecule, and then conduct your bioequivalence studies, submit your ANDA, and a regulatory approval will go for it, and then you get an approval. So it's a simple logics. These are the things which are being done, particularly ANDA. So what happens after the submission? The regulatory authorities will review the ANDA to make sure the quality and the safety and bioequivalence. There is no efficacy point in discussion here because it's just abbreviated new drug application. So it's just a quality, safety, and bioequivalence studies. Evaluate the manufacturing facility to check the GMP facilities are being used or not, and also whether the CMC is being done correctly or not. So ensures the compliance with the regulatory requirement and possible outcomes. First one is it is approved or it is not approved. So either it is approved or not approved. Why ANDA is important? Because it is affordable. It comes with a lesser cost, lower healthcare cost, ensures the same quality, and supports the healthcare systems, and also regulated and safe drugs or generic drugs. Generic drugs have same effectiveness and same safety. It might have 80 to 110% or 120% of the bioequivalence studies, but it's one of the application which is being the four major categories of ICH is Q, S, E, M. So what is Q? It is called as quality guidelines. The quality guidelines ensures the quality of the drugs are same, the pharmaceutical development and chemical substances, and also quality standards and stability and GMP is being done. The safety is being taken into consideration, toxicology studies and genotoxicities and carcinogenicities, and the safety pharmacology is being done. The effectiveness is being taken into consideration. The efficacy of the trial is being taken into consideration. The clinical trial, the GCPs, and the pharmacovigilance, and also the clinical evaluation and ethical guidelines. And in your GCP, it is the efficacy guidelines, which you will get it in particularly human beings. Multidisciplinary, generally you get MEDRA and CTD submission and regulatory submission guidelines. And how ICH guidelines are being developed, there will be a topic selection, expert working committees, and draft guidelines and public consultation, regulatory approval, and public notices. And now examples of ICH, starting from Q1 stability testing to pharmaceutical development and quality risk management and pharmaceutical quality and safety studies and non-clinical evaluations, and GCP C6, and E2, which is clinical study reports, and M1 is the MEDRA, and also M4 is the CDD. So these are the ICH guidelines which are being used particularly for your regulations. What are the four things which we have already discussed in the previous slides? The ICH categories. The four main categories ensures the quality, safety, efficacy, and the multidisciplinary. The quality guidelines: Q1A to 1F safety, Q2 analytical validation, Q3 impurities, Q4 pharmaceutical development, Q5 viral safety, and Q5A specification, Q7 GMP, Q8 is pharmaceutical development, and Q12 is the life cycle management. Wherein safety guidelines, carcinogenicity studies, genotoxicity, toxicokinetics, and dose response, reproductive and preclinical, and safety pharmacology, and immunopharmaceuticals. This is particularly for preclinical studies. While in efficacy, E1 is clinical trial structure, E2 is for pharmacovigilance, E3 is CSR, E4 is dose response, E5 is ethnic factors, E6 is GCP, E7 is study special populations, E8 is general consideration for this, E9 is statistical principle, E10 is choice of group controls, and E11 pediatric, and E12 is pharmacovigilance. While in multidisciplinary, M1 is medical terminology for MEDRA, and M2 is ECDD, M3 is non-clinical safety studies, and M4 is CTDs, and M5 is data element standards, and M7 is for DNA reactive mutagenic impurities, and M8 is electronic submission of common technical document, and M9 is biopharmaceutical classification of systems, which is BCS. So M4 is CTD and M8 is ECTD. So there are submissions which are given for the both things. So the CTD, which is M4, there are 5 modules, the common technical document format used for submission of regulatory, which most of students wants to learn, but basic structure is 5 modules. The module 1, administrative and prescribing information specifically to that particular country. Module 2, overview and summary of module 3 to 5, including the non-clinical studies and the preclinical studies and CMCs, and also the human being studies, all those efficacy clinical trials. Overview from 3rd to 5th module is being given. Module 3 is the quality, which is the CMCs, chemistry, manufacturing, and control. Module 4 is safety, and module 5 is efficacy. So if any question is being asked about what is CTD, there are 5 modules. First module is administrative and prescribing information. Module 2 is overview of module 3 to 5, and module 3 is your quality for CMCs, and module 4 is the safety, and module 5 is efficacy clinical studies. Now, what exactly is the CTD modules? What are the 5 different modules? The module 1, it gives the regional information, application forms, covering letters, labelings, country specific requirement. While module 2 is summary of 3 to 5, the provides high level summary of 3, 4, 5, the quality overview, non-clinical studies, and clinical studies. Module 3 is CMCs, the chemistry, manufacturing, control, drug safety informations, and then drug informations and manufacturing process and quality control and safety data. Module 4 is the preclinical studies, including the pharmacology, toxicology, safety, ADMA, and other non-clinical studies. Module 5 is on clinical study report, phase 1, 2, 3, and phase 4, and CSR, or the clinical or case report forms. The benefit of CTDs, the standardized format for every country except module 1, easier for review and faster approvals, reduce its cost and the quality, and also The global acceptance, the globally accepted by FDA, EMEA, PMDA, and also many more countries have accepted CTD module 1 to 5 provides a complete, well-organized, harmonized data to review before they give approval for the regulatory authorities. So ECDD, it's just a simple logic that electronic submission of data will be coming. The global standard for electronic regulatory submissions, electronic CTD, which is submission for regulatory authorities. The ECDD is a standardized way to organize and submit the regulatory data. It follows the CTD contents and structure for module 1 to 5 and uses which is CTD submissions, and module 1 which is regional informations. Module 2 already we have discussed summaries. Module 3 CMCs. Module 4 non-clinical studies. Module 5 is CSR. How it is being submitted: prepare first module 1 to 5, convert into ECDD format as per specifications, and validate the documents, business rules, and create CTD submission as a package. And then a gateway portal will be there for regulatory submissions, and then it will go for regulatory review. So regulatory authorities will accept the CDD submissions, and global standards are being given, and efficient submissions and faster review and faster approval of the drug molecule to the regulatory authorities is being taken into consideration for ECDD. So if anyone asks you what is ECDD, then these are the answers. What exactly is definition, what is the content, and how ECDD works, and why this ECDD has to be taken in consideration, and benefits of ECDD is being given into this global standards and effective submissions and faster review, data integrity, and also cost saving and submission. So there are some regulations, some guidelines which are being into part because module 3 speaks about the CMC, the GMP, the good manufacturing practices, assuring quality, safety, and effective medicines. The GMP is the system ensuring the product are consistent, produced, and controlled according to quality standards. The goal of GMP is to minimize the risk involved in the pharmaceutical production that cannot be eliminated by testing and the final product. Why GMP is important? Ensures the patient safety and product quality is same, ensuring regulatory compliance and reducing the product recall, and building the confidence and facilities. International trade market has been 10. What is the objective of the GMP? Ensures product quality, patient safety, minimize the risk, ensure compliance, and promote the consistency, and also grow the business. Key elements of GMP: first one, QMS, which is quality management system. Second one, personals who are included or involved in the GMP has to be trained, qualified, and experienced. The third one is premises and facilities, maintenance and prevention of contaminations and cross-contamination and mix-up and errors. And fifth one is equipments, the equipments which are being used or validated and also used or maintained, calibrated accordingly. Sixth one, the GDP documentation practice, and sixth one, production, how the real-time production happens, and quality control and testing of the drug products, particularly to know what is the status of the drug products. Last one is the self-inspection. The key principles of GMP: the quality cannot be tested in the product, must be built up. Prevention of the defects rather than the detentions. Documentation: what you have done, do what you have document. Follow the procedures. An example of GMP area: personal hygienes, clean, controlled manufacturing areas, batch manufacturing, storage, and also compliance. So GMP: right product, right quality, and right way every time. This is about the GMP. The second one is GLP, which is good laboratory practices. There are two types of guidelines for GLP. One is OECD, and also the NDCT rules for GLP for non-clinical testing and also for lab testings, the non-clinical testing or biosample testing. What is GLP? The GLP is the international quality standards that ensures the reliability, integrity, and traceability of data generated for non-clinical studies. Non-clinical studies can be animal studies. Non-clinical studies can be a biosample analysis studies. Why? Because the quality and integrity ensures the studies are planned, performed correctly, accurate documentation, inspections, and promote in international collaborations. So these are the key elements. First one is personals, trained, qualified, and experienced. Facilities and reagents and equipments, SOPs, the study conduct and recording and reporting of data, storage and retention of the records, and quality assurance and study archival and SOPs. So these are included for non-clinical studies, pharmacology studies, and toxicology studies, and also environmental fatal studies. There are two types of studies. One is the animal studies, and the other one is the preclinical studies. There is one more question. What is GCP? GCP is the International Ethical Scientific Quality Standards used for designing, conducting, recording, and reporting of clinical trials involved in human subjects. The objectives are protects right, safety, and well-being of trial subjects. Credibility of data ensures the trials are conducted in ethical confidence and promote the public confidence in clinical research facilities. The key element and principles: first one is sponsor, investigator, trial subjects, and records and reports, data integrity, and informed consent and study protocol. So, in a simple words, the clinical trials are conducted ethically, and also subjects are protected with right, safety, and well-being, and also data is credible, is called as GCP. And this question is multiple times asked in interview: what is the objective of GCP and why GCP? Key pillars of the GCP. Now, the next question is: what is pharmacovigilance? Monitoring of safety drugs, detecting the adverse events. It's detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention of adverse events and drug-related risk is your pharmacovigilance. Most of times they are asking these questions because once the drug is in market, then you have to go and submit the pharmacovigilance. There is one more question, which is IND submission. The IND is before the drug goes into clinical testings. The first step towards clinical trial testing is IND. The IND is a request submitted to the regulatory authorities obtaining the authorization to administer the investigational drug product and clinical investigations. The purpose of IND: protects the right, safety, and well-being of trial subjects, ensures the sufficient data is available to start a human clinical trials, allow the sponsor for legalship to start your clinical trials. What it should contain? It should contain administrative information, investigational drug product CMC data, and also the animal studies, preclinical studies, and clinical trial protocol, and also the investigator brochure. Types of IND: one is commercial IND and also investigator IND. The IND review process: submit the IND, it will be reviewed by FDA, and IND becomes effective, and also you can start your clinical trial. The timelines: it is IND preparation, and then submission, and 20 days it will be reviewed, and then effective and start your clinical trials. So IND submission is being given for conducting the clinical trials in human beings. So that's about the IND submission. Already we have discussed what is bioequivalence studies. The comparison of bioavailability between the patent drug and generic drug is bioequivalence. So these are the plasma concentration which will be done. So reference drug and test drug are being given. You will take the blood sample and check the bioequivalence studies, and these are called as bioequivalence studies. And the data which has to be accepted is 80 to 125% of Cmax, AUC, and AUC 0 to infinity. What are different regulatory authorities and examples of regulatory authorities? The regulatory authorities are the government organization responsible for protecting the public health, regulating medicines and medical devices, vaccines, and also the other healthcare products. Evaluate the application for approval, access, the quality, safety, and efficacy, inspects monitoring and manufacturing facility, ensures the compliance with the law, and monitor the safety after the product is in life, and take regulatory actions. There are multiple examples: FDA, EMEA, CDSCO, PMDA, NP, NMPA, and WHO, and TGA and Health Canada. And this is my last slide. We are having admission open for Clinosol Monsoon Special 2026. This season, invest your career with our most generous offer yet. Get admission today, get discount in the fees, up to 30% of waiver of the fees, hybrid learning. You can go for online, offline, and hybrid mode, flexible weekend and weekday batches. Placement support is being given. Ultimate 6 courses batches are there: clinical research, CBM, PV, medical writing, regulatory affairs, AI in clinical research, and resume writing and communication skills, and LinkedIn, and also Excel trainings. The whole 10 course combination is 30,000, including 150 hours of video sessions and slide presentation material, including the placement support. The essential 8 course clinical research, PV, CDM, medical writing, regulatory affairs, and resume writing, communication skills, and Excel. The fee structure is 25,000. Last date for getting admission is 3rd of August. please do contact us on 912-115-1622, 912-115-1624, or you can write mail on clinosolhr@gmail.com. Before I end up, I would like to invite everyone to join for 2 hours of hands-on workshop on Power BI, which we are going to host it on this coming Saturday. And do get registered. Call us on 912-115-1622 for more information. You can join us for Power BI to know clinical data analysis and data visualization. So today's regulatory affairs topic, these are the things which we have discussed, the questions. The first question which we have discussed, what is regulatory affairs, different positions, NDA, ANDA, ICH, ICH guidelines, CTD, ECTD, and GMP, GLP, GCP, pharmacovigilance, IND, and bioequivalence, and regulatory authorities. These are the interview questions which are being asked repeatedly in interviews. So I would be opening questions. If anyone has any questions in the YouTube live, you can ask the questions. I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone have. So thank you so much for patient listening. If any questions are there, you can ask me, and I'm happy to answer any kind of questions. And also, I would like to ask questions. What are the topics you wanted to come up with? The next upcoming interview-based live questions, you can ask me. I would be happy to take it up, one or two topics, because last 2 weeks we have done for the CDM and also we have done for the PV. So I can have some more interview based questions on SAS or HUR or TMF or any kind of interview based questions, or including medical coding. So please let me know if anyone have any suggestions of topics to take for interview based questions. I'm happy to take it. So I'm in YouTube live. You can ask me any questions if anyone have. Else, thank you so much for joining, and please give suggestions that how was the session and what exactly you wanted to have. If you are needing any other information about clinosol or interview based questions or anything, you can ask us questions. Thank you so much. Signing off, Mujib. Thank you.